What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Storytime with GemMint. And today I'm going to tell you about that time when I used to be a rapper. Yeah, man, making music was a big part of my life from the time I was 16 to probably my early 30s. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the story on how I got into rap music, how I started making my own music, ran a record label with my friends, and for the first time ever, I'm going to actually play some of the music that I did back in the day. None of you have ever heard this. It's going to be a first-time exclusive. Before we jump into this video, and I'm imagining it's going to be pretty long, I am going to drop a new giveaway over on my Encore page. We're going to do Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 1 first printing. I love using Encore for the giveaways. It's basically an online selling app just like eBay. Sellers can list comic books for auctions, which last up to 7 days, or buy it nows. But instead of uploading pictures, you upload videos. It gives you time to describe what it is you're holding, give you some backstory, some history on it, and maybe look for any potential defects. So I'll post a giveaway now. It'll remain up there for those 6 days. All you got to do is download the app using the link in the description, in the pinned comment, or on the QR code. You can enter the giveaway, and if you win, it is 100% free. I am selling some of my Omnis on there and some other things, so if you want to purchase anything from me, feel free to, or anybody else on the app. They are required to upload photo ID and are vetted, plus Encore has buyer protection just in case there are any mishaps. So gonna do Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 1 over on Encore, and let's jump into the story on how I became a rapper. So first of all, I got into rap music in the early 90s. I must have been around 8 or 9 years old. Now, rap music had already been around, but rap music was always like party music to me. Like, you had stuff like Vanilla Ice, of course, Ice Ice Baby. You had Ninja Rap from the Ninja Turtles movie. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go! MC Hammer, Naughty by Nature, or It Takes Two to make a thing go right. Like, I grew up in this world feeling like, oh, this was party music. And I'll never forget my friends that lived across the street from me. Their names were Mike and John. John ended up going by Juice later on. And this is all important. This all ties in later. Juice was kind of like a bad kid, like a Dennis the Menace. Not as bad, but like he got into rap music because of the curse words. I'll never forget the first time he brought a tape around. It was Warren G, the Regulate album. And I really remember that, and do you see what I see every day as Warren G? But he just remembered the lyrics because they would curse in it. But I remember that's kind of really what got me into rap music was the Warren G, because at the time I was like a big Green Day head. I loved Green Day Dookie. I loved Green Day so much that I even went back and bought their previous albums. I think it was Kerplunk and like 10,000 something or other. And I remember even liking those older albums, being like, oh shit, Welcome to Paradise, they remade those for Dookie. Anyway, so I was big into like alt rock at the time, and then he brought Warren G around, and then another friend in the neighborhood had The Chronic and Doggy Style. So really like West Coast rap is really what got me into it. And then I'll never forget, Coolio drops Gangsta's Paradise. And that song hit me like a ton of bricks, man. I felt like it was so real. The music, the singing, the verses. And it was such a shame on how serious and dope of a song that was that became an absolute joke, a mockery after Weird Al did Amish Paradise. It was like that parody song made the original song whack. Like, you would never hear anybody riding by bumping Gangsta's Paradise after Weird Al dropped that. So that was weird. But then shortly after that, Gangsta's Paradise, Dangerous Minds, the movie, the soundtrack, that's when I first heard Bone Thugs and Harmony. The first time I heard Bone Thugs was first of the month. And to this day, it's to me like the most unique beat in all of hip hop. The beat for first of the month is crazy. The chorus was crazy, the singing and the harmonizing and bouncing from crazy to busy. And then the 4 verses were incredible, specifically crazy and busy, man. And then that's really what inspired me to make my own music. Being a Bone Thugs and Harmony fan for like however many years, I heard them, it was in 95. And then I would pick up a pen and start doing my own stuff when I was 15. So I was a big diehard Bone fan for a few years. I would print out all their lyrics. I would learn the lyrics. And that's what really kind of taught me bars and measures and how to formulate a verse and everything. So Bone Thugs and Harmony. Then I start writing my own stuff to instrumentals. And I ended up linking up with a friend from middle school. He moved away, so I stayed at his house for like 5 days. And we made a little demo tape on instrumentals, and we called it 5 Days. And I remember one of the tracks was Wu-Tang's Triumph. But I don't really remember the other tracks. So anyway, we make this little demo. It's cool to hear yourself recording your own lyrics and all that. And I guess the circle he was in, because he was like a big internet guy. I was on the internet too, man. But this is back in the day with like GeoCities. And people would make like fan Bone Thugs pages, and then they would link them to other ones. And you had a whole ring. And that's actually what got me into graphic design, which will play a little bit of a part later. So anyway, I guess he ended up sharing it. And then one day out of the blue, I'm on the computer making Bone Thugs graphics. And somebody instant messages me through AIM. And their name is CEO of Too Hot. And they're like, hey, yo, I'm starting this record label. I got this web page set up. I want to put you on the label, this, that, and the third. I have other artists. And the web page was really dope. And I remember thinking to myself, man, this is just some internet bullshit. See, back in the day, there was more of a fine line between the real world and the internet world. Like anything that was on the internet to me was fake. It was like fake bullshit. But I remember telling my friends, Mike, who lived across the street from me, Juice went to another school. We'll talk about it more later. But I remember telling him and another friend of mine, Derek, a.k.a. D Sleaze, a.k.a. Sleazeball, that, hey, man, this guy hit me up talking about Too Hot Records. He wants me to be on Too Hot Records. And I'm telling them thinking that they're just going to laugh it off or be like, oh, that's just some internet bullshit. But they were so excited, man. They were so hype about this Too Hot Records thing that they were like, nah, man, we're going to be Too Hot Records. We're Too Hot. And I don't think I ever spoke to that guy on Instant Messenger again. From then on, we just ran with Too Hot Records. That was our own thing. And we had no way of making music or anything. I had this little demo that I did on instrumentals. I was the only one that really made music. Although D, he was big on writing and shit as well. But I don't think he really had recorded anything. So we started this Too Hot Records thing. And then my friends, Mike and Juice, they end up moving away. Well, not really. Like their father moved to an apartment complex. So we would hang out over there as well as in our neighborhood. So in that apartment complex, that's where D lived across the street. And he knew someone named Buddy Long, a.k.a. Gold Rush, who they were friends. And so I ended up meeting Rush through mutual friends. And then we all became friends. But basically, D knew Rush, and so did Mike and Juice. I knew Mike and Juice, and then I met D and Rush. And Rush was a producer. He made beats. So I remember D finally introducing us in school. We were in Deerfield High School. Rush is 2 years younger than me. So he was in 9th grade and I was in 10th, I think. Or I might have been in the 11th grade actually. And he's like, yeah, what's up? I remember him being a freshman and he had a gold grill, like a pullout. But that was big back then during that time, man. This is like 99, 2000. And I remember thinking like, oh, damn, he got the grill and all that. So we ended up agreeing to go to his house to see what kind of beats he can make. And he's kind of like, well, what do you want me to make? This dude had the same keyboard that the Neptunes had, the Triton. So he could play the clips grinding, the whole beat on one hand. I don't know. I'm not good with beats. Yo. So it always blew my mind. I'm like, oh, shit, this guy got the same equipment as professionals. He can make the same beat they can make. And then his original beats, like he could sample, he could make whatever. He could make beats that are as good as what is in the industry right now. So that blew my mind. And I remember him making a beat with us screaming out Deerfield, kind of like how 3 6 Mafia would be like North Memphis in the background of the beat. And we were from Deerfield Beach, Florida, so which is in Broward County. So he put that in a beat. He made a beat. But his hustle was to try to sell beats. So I remember him trying to sell the beat. I don't remember what it was, $200, $60, $600. I don't even remember what he said. But I was a broke ass high school student at the time. As soon as he talked about some kind of price, I was like, oh, well, I guess we ain't getting the beat because ain't nobody got no money for that. That happens. I don't really think anything of it. But then like the next semester or so, we end up in the same class for first period, which was PE. It was our elective. So we were in different grades, but you know, the electives would merge. I actually had PE for my first and second period. I think me and Rush were in school at the same time when 9/11 happened, not for nothing. Anyway, I remember The friendship started kind of just like meth and red on How High.
Got blunt? Got weed?
I remember sitting on the floor in the gymnasium next to Rush, like, oh shit, what's up, Rush? And him being like, yo, I got weed. I got this blunt I'm trying to smoke, but I don't got a car. And I was like, oh shit, well, I don't got no weed, but I got a car. What you want to do? So he was like, shit, let's go back to my house. I got a studio. His mother was a postal worker. He's like, my mom's is at work. Let's go to the studio. Let's blaze and fuck around. So I was like, shit, say less. So we skipped school. We went to his house, smoked up. And I remember I dropped a verse and he blew my mind because he put me on to ad-libs. When I did the demo with my other friend, it was just one track. But he was like, nah, do your track. Now do another one where you just kind of enunciate the rhyming words. And then we kind of figured out, oh shit, you could do a double and just do the whole verse twice and stack it up. It makes it feel fuller. So then we started doing triples and triple ad-lib tracks and it got crazy. But I never forget, like when he did that and I heard myself on record with multiple tracks stacked up, yo, it was a mind blower. But what was funny is the first verse I dropped for him, I was just rapping like how I'm talking now. And it sounded kind of funny. Like I was just kind of so deadpan with it. But my friends who they hyped me up a lot with the Too Hot Record shit. They loved that verse. And then me and Rush would do that every single day. We would skip school, go to his house, make music. And by the second verse I dropped, I kind of have already found my voice, kind of put some raspiness into it. And being a bonehead, I was always big on flow. I wasn't big on bars or metaphors or punches. It was all about dancing around the beat and that staccato and the syllables. And the thing with me dropping verses with Rush, I kind of felt like I was better than Rush at that time. I'll talk about when I started to see him surpass me, because he was a couple years younger and he was saying stuff. He was rhyming words, but he was just kind of rhyming words. He was saying things, but he wasn't really saying anything. But when I was in there, I was talking about the shit we were doing. I was shouting out my friends. I was using the slang that we used. I was talking about the places we were at. And the way that I would rap and really enunciate my words, like people really rocked with it. So we would do a bunch of tracks and we both had a very strong work ethic. We were always big on like, yo, let's get a song done. Let's put together an album. Let's put together a mixtape, whatever. So he takes these tracks that we're doing and he makes his first album, and it's called The Rush Hour. Rush Hour with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan was big. He was half Japanese, half white, so he looked kind of Asian, kind of Hispanic he looked too, but he looked kind of Asian. So he was always big on the Rush Hour title, and hopefully I'll remember because he made like 5 albums called The Rush Hour. Anyway, I'm on like half of the tracks on this Rush Hour album, and I make the album cover kind of like No Limit style, because that's what I had been doing kind of this whole time, like studying hip hop music, reading every issue of The Source and Double XL, and making graphics and collages. So I make the album cover and we press them up like one at a time in his house. So what me and Rush did, we would go to school every day. He would, I guess he would take the bus, I would drive. We would meet up before first period and we would sell as many of those albums. I mean, they're mixtapes, but they're albums. They were all original songs, original beats and everything. We would sell them for $5 each, and we would sell like 3 to 5 albums before the first bell rang every day. And when that first bell rang to go to class, we went to go get weed and go to the studio. What's funny is we would go to the weed hole where we would just get like nicks or dimes. And the weed hole was kind of in like the hood. It was kind of like the area that Kodak Black is from, kind of like that Pompano area. And the guy we would get the weed from, his name was One Leg. He had one leg. He would hang out in the front of the porch. Rush would call him One Leg. But I try to be smart with it. I'm like, I'm not trying to pull up into the weed hole and be parked and then cops come in and we get busted. So I would be like, stop at the stop sign. He would hop out. I would drive and swing around. And by the time I swing back around, he was already walking, scooping him up at the next stop sign. So we had a little system. So we would go in there. We would make music. We had the Rush Hour album. Then we just started working on other music. Now, at this time, I told you, Juice, he didn't go to school with us in Deerfield. We all went to Deerfield, and Juice went to Oakland Park. Now, Juice, man, he always had the charisma. He put this whole squad together over at Oakland Park, which is like Fort Lauderdale area. And we all clicked up. We all joined up as one big group so that we could be deeper. I mean, he was already friends with them anyway. We had all of our friends, and we just combined. And then we had a whole bunch of other rappers that were with us. So we're like, okay, boom, we got this Too Hot Records thing. We got a ton of artists. I'm making album covers for all of them. Rush is making tracks. He's recording all of them. And I'm like, okay, we need to come up with a super group, because if we're going to release music, you know, we have the record labels, Too Hot Records, but we got to have a group. And I had this DB logo already made. So as a Bone Thug fan making graphics, we used to always mess with the Bone Thug fonts. Like Beckett was the font that was closer to the Bone Thugs logo. And then Budapest was the font that Flesh and Bone used for his first solo album, Thugs. Remind me to talk about Flesh and Bone later, because this shit all ties in together. It's so crazy. And that's the real big reason why I pursued music so heavily for like 10 years or more, is because all this shit kind of fell into my lap, man. It just fell into place. But let me keep going. So I make this logo out of a D. I mirror the D to make it a B, and I spread the top, and I'm like, I'm trying to make like a logo that is like on par with a Wu-Tang logo. To me, Bone and Wu-Tang have the most iconic rap logos of all time. So I was trying to make something in that vein. It kind of, if you think about it, is a mixture of the two. And then I have this logo, so I'm trying to think of what can our group name be that uses DB? And then we settled on Dem Boys. So people could be like, oh, who's that song? Oh, that's Dem Boys. Oh, that's Dem Boys doing a show. But Dem Boys. So that was the name of the group. We released an album. We did 2 albums under that name, Dem Boys. And at this time, man, I'm in my bag, man. I'm in there. I'm snapping on the beat. You're gonna hear some of my shit later. Unfortunately, I don't have any of that stuff. I had it on an old computer that died on me. I couldn't get the files back. Rush may have some of this stuff around the house, but maybe not. I don't think he likes the old shit that much. Anyway, around the time where I start to see Rush surpass me is during this time, because keep in mind, he's 2 years younger in high school. Those are formidable years. And we end up doing this song on the first Dem Boys album called Eyes Red. And this was the first time that we made a song that kind of started to gain some traction. Like, I'll never forget this group of kids in a car pulled up next to us, mean mugging us, blasting Eyes Red. They didn't even know it was us, but they were blasting our song. And on that song, Eyes Red, which is funny, it's about smoking weed, right? Trying to get my eyes red. Rush, for the first time, did some harmony on the hook, and he was like, my eyes red. Bro, that shit was so hard, man. It just took that song and boom, brought it to the next level. And that song went everywhere. Like, my aunt and uncle hit me up about it one day. I'm like, how the fuck did you even know about this song? Like, how did my cousins, that we don't go to the same schools or anything? And this is back in the day, man. This is even before MySpace. So anyway, we continue to make music. We have multiple projects in the works. I'm working on an album. I actually put a whole album together called Dove City, which is why I got the tattoo on my neck. Dove City was like a nickname that we had for Deerfield Beach. Deerfield Beach is a small little city in Broward County. So Broward County in Florida is like Fort Lauderdale, Deerfield, Pompano, Coconut Creek, Margate, Oakland Park, Lauderhill, Wilton Manor. It's a bunch of smaller cities in one county. So we represented Broward County, Deerfield Beach. So I put that whole album together. The thing that we were never good at was getting the music out there. And I guess I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But we were good at making the music, making the graphics, putting people together, even doing shows and doing live performances. But getting the music out there was always a challenge. One day we're sitting around the studio, and I guess I should mention the Too Hot Records thing. We agreed that it was 5 of us that were all equal. We were all heads of this label. It was me, Rush, Juice, his brother Mike, and our boy Cam. So we were the 5 MPs, the 5 major players, which is why I got this tattoo here. Oh, I don't think I even mentioned. So I went by the name Skrilla. That was my rap name. So it was Gold Rush and Skrilla. So anyway, so we're sitting around the studio. Now, me, Rush, and Juice, we were content with sitting in the studio, smoking weed, making music. Juice would get on tracks as well, and he was kind of slick with it too. He had some bars and some good lines. He's got some lines that we still say around the house to this day. Like he said, trying to stack my chips like Pringles and never let them sprinkle on the floor. So sometimes me and Fee will still say that. Like anytime someone says chips or Pringles or something, and he would make beats too. And then his brother Mike, though, was not like that, man. He was always out and about. He would always break our balls like, man, we got to get out of here. We got to go to South Beach. We got to go try to get clubs. We got to try to do shows. And so one night he was just on us about it. And we were like, fine, man, we'll go to South Beach, whatever. At this time, Rush was putting together another album called the Rush Hour. He kind of figured, all right, now I'm better now. That was practice. Now I'm going to work on the real Rush Hour. And he had so many tracks that he had like an album to go before it that we called like 4:59, a minute before Rush Hour was the mixtape. So we take that to South Beach and we end up at Zeno's on the Beach, which was a club that Benzino ran. Oh, he owned it, I guess. He was the owner. So, you know, we're out there. We're kind of early. We're sitting around. We're not doing nothing. We knock on the door. Like the janitor kind of opens it up. And the janitor, not for nothing, was kind of like, yo, you guys are trying to get a show here? Well, check it out. Trick Daddy's father, his name is Pops. He's the manager of this club. He's about to be here. I'll introduce you. So we're like, wow, that's kind of Trick Daddy's dad. Like, that's so weird, right? Trick Daddy's dad named Pops. So I think we had to come back in an hour. We go back there. And this, I might be blending two separate visits together because I remember we went to Zeno's and then when we met him again, it was Zeno's on the Beach. I think it moved or something like that. But anyway, Pops lets us in. I think it's pretty sure it's the five of us. He plays Rush's tracks in the club before it opens up. So we're hearing it in the club all loud on the speakers and everything. And he gets to this song called Wood and Leather, which was a fire song. It was a laid back kind of pimp song. Rush was harmonizing on the hook, sitting on wood and leather. I wish I still had that album. And Pops loved it. I remember him for the first time kind of confirming that he was Trick Daddy's dad. He was like, yo, my son Maurice, my son Trick Daddy would love this song. So he ends up hooking up us with Trick Daddy's brother. So it goes from Trick Daddy's father to Trick Daddy's brother. Now, I don't think I need to stress how big if you're in Florida, Trick Daddy is the Jay-Z of Florida. Trick Daddy is the biggest rap artist in Florida easily. Nope, maybe even to this day. Maybe not to the youngins, but he's definitely the OG. Anyway, he says, yeah, my son, Trick, and his brother, my sons are starting a record label. They're starting their own label off of Slip and Slide, and they're looking for artists. So sure enough, Charles Young was Trick Daddy's, or is Trick Daddy's brother that was starting the label. We meet with him, and he's more of like, he's not really thugged out like Trick is. He was kind of more on our end. We moved like mafioso. We moved like we thought we were in Goodfellas or something. And he was kind of more on that tip. Like, he was more of a businessman than a thug, which was kind of funny to see. Anyway, they really liked Rush for the production, so they offered Rush a record contract as a producer and as an artist, kind of just in case. But they really wanted him for the production. In retrospect, and I think Rush has said this before too on interviews, like, I think they really wanted Dunk Riders, the record label, to be super grimy, Miami dudes. And then you had this half Japanese, half white dude with like three white guys and a black guy, like mobbed out on some production and everything. So anyway, they sign Rush, and then I go with Rush and all of us, and we meet Trick Daddy for the first time at Circle House. Circle House is like the most famous recording studio in Florida, except for the Hit Factory is the other one where they worked a lot as well. But we go to Circle House, and that's where the group Inner Circle, that's their studio. They're the ones that did the theme song, Bad Boys, what you gonna do for Cops. So they were rich off Cops, which was always ironic too, because they're kind of like street dudes as well. Anyway, I meet Trick Daddy. I remember him coming out of the studio. He crept out, man, like a shadow, man, with a bottle of Hennessy. He was drunk as hell. And Trick's got small ass hands. I remember dapping him up, and I remember like, yo, this dude's hand is smaller than a bitch. But he was a short guy weighing in about $165. You know? So anyway, I met Trick Daddy for the first time. But then around that time, man, I kind of started falling back from the music scene because I had a daughter. Me and Fee had our first daughter. Shit was getting real. Real life was getting real. Diapers, formula, baby food. I really wanted to be a family with Fee and our daughter. So I'm like, damn, I got to get a job, man. So I kind of started falling back on the music around this time. But, you know, I was still in the mix. And Rush ended up, actually, I have the track list here. He ended up producing and featuring on a bunch of songs on Trick Daddy's album, Backed by Thug Demand. I'm looking here, Straight Up, featuring Young Buck. Rush, I think he made the beat, and he came up with the concept and wrote, and he's on the hook. If you listen to Straight Up, you can hear Rush in the background. Then he's got Bet That. Bet That was a beat that was produced by the Runners. It was ironic. The first time that Rush was introduced to the world, it wasn't his track. He would get like Atlantic beat CDs because Atlantic would send them out to all of their artists We had actually got a production deal with Atlantic, and he would have other artists write to it, come up with hooks, this, that, and the third. So Rush came up with the song called Bet That on a track produced by the Runners. Trick loved it. He redid the hook. He added his own verses, and low key, not Trick, but the powers that be tried to take Rush off the song. But like to Juice's credit, we ended up putting Juice as the manager because he was the one that would always go back and forth with Rush to Miami. He was the manager. They really fought to keep Rush on the track. So they kept Rush on the third verse for like the bridge. So Gold Rush, the dude that I'm making music with, I'm in his house every day. Now he's on TV in a music video with Trick Daddy and Chameleon Air. Now at this time, I don't know if Rush still had that Rush Hour album. He might have even scrapped those tracks and he made another new mixtape called The Rush Hour. And he actually got Trick Daddy to do a bunch of drops. So like in between a couple of tracks, Trick Daddy would say stuff. The big standout track on this mixtape was Late Night Creep.
I know you want me and I want you too. I see you looking at me, what you wanna do? Just tell me what they do around 1, 2, 3. And holla at me, baby, on the late night creep. Late night creep. Late night creep. Late night creep. Late night creep.
So this was another one of those songs that like kind of got a little bit big in our hometown. Like everybody loved Late Night Creep. And at this time, I'm still making music with Rush, and I'm on this album with him on a few songs. And actually, one of the songs that we did called 10th Street, Trick liked it so much, he put it out on one of his mixtapes. So right now I'm going to play for you a verse that I did. This has to be like in 2008 or 9 with me on the song 10th Street with Gold Rush.
Trying to find a way, trying to make another day. I'm the one that came out rapping Love City, talking about 10th Street, power line and Dixie, run around tipsy, white tee crispy, hoes trying to diss me, now they show me pussy. I remember twins showed me what a kush be. He the one who showed me how to push weed. Got me stacked up, back up in Dub House. They was like, goddamn, what you dubbed out? I remember York, had me on that jet, introduced me to Taz, now he my best friend. Sang with Rush, Juice and Cam, and MC, that's my fam, that's the plan. Stick to the script, always chase money, give a fuck about a bitch. They chase it, so they chase me, all the way back to 10th Street. Growing up, hustling on 10th Street.
Now, to be honest, I don't think that Trick Daddy really knew I was even on that song or anything, but he ended up putting it out on one of his mixtapes, and Rush, it was on one of his albums. And I always would try to make sure I was on at least one song on every Gold Rush project, even though I was at work. And at this time, man, I have 2 kids. I'm working at the power company, and I'm kind of fading back from the music thing. I'm kind of almost giving it up to the point where I'm still involved, but I'm not actually recording music anymore. And I'll get to that in a bit, but I do want to play one more song kind of from this era that I did with Rush. It's called Get Your Mind Right. And it kind of showcases like the style that I was going for. It's very like 3-6 Mafia / Bone Thugs influenced. The problem was I don't really have a strong tempo. So a lot of the times I try to rap fast, it comes off sounding like Silk the Shocker. But here goes my verse on Get Your Mind Right.
Get your mind right. Get your mind, get your mind, get your mind, get your mind, get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind, get your mind, get your mind, get your mind, get your mind. I can't tell you, get your mind right. My mind ain't been right for years. I've been out my mind, I'm so high, my mind's in the atmosphere. See their eyes, I got them script. See that big ass rap right here. See this big ass rap right here. It go riding through the city, I be vibing off this Henny. I be trying to make a penny, flip it, turn it to a million. Hillbillies on that crack, rich doctors on that powder. See your opportunity, get the money, then the power. Getting money out in Broward, getting money by the hour. Ain't shit sweet, that's why I keep it sour. Keeping a Glock and no revolver. Now things everybody's on ya. Marijuana, paranoia. I be looking over my shoulder. Hold up. Get your mind, get your mind, get your mind. Get it right now. Get your mind, get your mind right.
So you see what I'm saying? Kind of like that 3-6 Mafia / Bone Thugs influence. Not for nothing, man. I always say, I feel like we could have been like Suicide Boys, man. But it was funny, like we were a little bit too early for that. Like MySpace was big at the time, so I would spend a lot of time on MySpace trying to get our stuff out there into the world. But it was like a different era. It was before you could really stream music. You couldn't really sell music online. It was kind of that weird era, like where Napster ruined the music industry, and then we're trying to figure out where do we go from here. But I also kind of felt like too, like we're like two white guys rapping like 3 6 / Bone. Now the difference between us though and Suicide Boys is I felt like they had a lot of like self-deprecating songs. We thought we were the shit. We thought we were the toughest, the coolest, the richest. We thought we were like the shit. So our maybe our content didn't really resonate with a lot of people. But shout out to Suicide Boys, man, keeping that Bone Thugs 3 6 sound going. Now speaking of that, this all ties in, mind you. So a couple years go by. Trick Daddy's Back by Thug the Man album is like the only album that didn't go gold or platinum. It's like Rush got with Trick Daddy, and it was kind of on when his career was on a downward, was on a descent rather than an ascent. So unfortunately, like nothing really that big came out of that. Now Rush did get a lot of other placements as a producer. He produced a track called Fuck the Other Side, which was Dunk Riders. And it was on DJ Khaled's album. I think the first one, like We Global or some shit. He did a track called On My Dick. He produced it for Plies on Plies' first album, The Real Testament. Like he got a gold plaque for that. And he did a bunch of other placements and such. But like Rush, he always wanted to be an artist. He always wanted to be a rapper. He always wanted to be, you know, the star. Like understandably, like he rapped. He really only made beats to rap. So he had something to rap on, but he kind of felt like he was getting typecast as a producer. I'll talk about that in a little bit. The story is not even over yet. So anyway, a couple years go by. The Too Hot Records thing kind of falls apart a little bit. And I got to be honest, man, I always felt like I was one of the reasons why a lot of stuff would be happening, moving and shaking. Like if I wasn't involved with something, it really wasn't doing much. I think it was that work ethic. You just, you know, having those people around you that are, you know, pushing you to do stuff. And even like with Mike making us go to South Beach. And again, I didn't even want to go there. So it was good that we had him. But one of the problems that occurred were like we had some money coming in, you know, the production deal, and we kind of agreed to split everything. But then it got weird on like, all right, what is this motherfucker actually doing? What are you actually doing? And it kind of fell apart. And I was really focused on my family at this time. I was focusing on FP&L. I started doing really good at work and moving up and making money. So the music stuff to me just seemed like, okay, man, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. But like, why did all that shit fall into my lap the way that it did though, man? I still don't really understand that. A lot of stuff that I learned though, I use for the YouTube channel, making thumbnails, editing videos. It's like reminding me of him editing our vocals up with the WAV files. Like I do that stuff now. So maybe it was experience, growth or whatever, but the story's not over. So anyway, so I love when Rush does the Bone flow. He does the Bone Thugs flow. He does the harmonies. And I always felt like that sound is missing. Like even Bone Thugs themselves doesn't sound like Bone Thugs anymore to me. Keeping it a buck. Somebody who was a fan, still a fan from day one. Well, from Eternal. But I always felt like, man, Rush, do that shit because not everybody can do that. And that might be something that wasn't really good advice because I think Rush, because he really should have been finding his own sound. And I think I really influenced him to sound and use that style. But like, dog, not everybody could do that. Anyway, I'm on MySpace. I'm trying to promote stuff still. And I run into this guy named Smoke. And this guy, Smoke, another white guy, raps with the Bone flow. He's incredible, though. Let me play you something real quick. I'm going to play you the song from Smoke that made me reach out to Smoke.
Are you ready for the Armageddon? No, we're feeling what they killing you is so gone. Got me feeling like a killer, hold the trigger, and then I know the game's on. So I fill up on the liquor, get them quicker, I'm falling, oh no. So I fill up on the liquor, get them quicker, I'm falling, oh no. I'm falling.
Yo, that Falling song is crazy, and Smoke's flow is so crazy. He is incapable of being off beat. It's so funny because me, like I have a trouble staying on beat. I'll be too fast or I'll be too slow, whatever. I'm chasing the beat. This guy is da 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 da, and he sings with it. So anyway, I hit him up and I'm trying to get him to do music with Rush. I don't know, something just told me to do it. So I sent him some tracks, and one day out of the blue, like 8 months later, he sends me back the track. It was a Gold Rush track with a hook, and he sends it back with his verse. Listen to what Smoke says at the beginning of this verse. This song is fire too, by the way. I'm not on it, but I'm about to play something else that I am on.
Hey, yo, Thriller was hitting me, homie.
Bust the free.
Look, I'm busting free.
Bust the
It's your
free.
homeboy Smoke,
Bust the
what?
free.
Look.
Bust the free.
And on with that in the cows, the capital west and I'm back in my zone. Fuck a bus, a boot, one and they tone. No care, but they never come into me, no. I feel like I wanna do better, but then I get headed back up in the regular. Gotta keep president, money, my family wanted American, ain't no comparison to it.
Yo, so Smoke killed it. Rush liked it too, because Rush really appreciated talent. Like, he does this. So when you hear somebody else snapping and chopping and singing like that, it really complimented Rush's style. And I talked them into doing this whole album together, The Revival. And what was dope about their link up, and again, I'm going to get to it, this all ties in together from the beginning, is that he was working with T-Rock at the time. Smoke was rocking with T-Rock, who T-Rock used to be with 3 6 Mafia. He was on a couple of songs on that Hypnotized Camp Posse album. And they actually did a song for a project that I'm going to talk about in just a little moment. But before we get off of this album, the Gold Rush and Smoke, The Revival, I had to jump on a track. I orchestrated this whole thing. You heard Smoke in the beginning. Shout out to Skrilla. So then there's this song. And what's funny about this song is that I don't like this song. I don't like the way my verse is mixed. It's got a little Silk the Shocker going on in there. And when I have this on playlists, like this album, like some of these songs are on my playlist, and I don't have this one on there. But here's a song. It's called Fallin in Love featuring Skrilla. I'm going to go right to the end of the hook in my verse. What's funny though, like I just listened to that recently when I was thinking about doing this video, and I like the verse a lot better now. I kind of try to like make it seem like, okay, going through my 3 loves in life, the money, weed, and the music. What'd I say? Then I fell in love with this girl named Mary, started cheating on me, but it wasn't necessarily my fault, Will. Maybe just a little bit. Passed her to my dog, let him hit. I was wrong than a bitch. See, I was flipping the tongue a little bit. So this album was pretty dope though. They actually had a couple features. They had Skinny Pimp was on there. They had T-Rock was on there on the second song. And who else was on there? I think wasn't the one dude from Do or Die is on here too, I feel like. Anyway, so they do the Revival song. That's 2012. They do the album, my bad. And, nothing really big happens from it. And at this point, like, I really want to get my boy Taz involved. So remember when I told you we had Deerfield crew and then we had Oakland Park crew? Well, Taz was a Deerfield crew guy, and I was really close with Taz. We lived together for a long time. He was a huge Bone Thugs fan, and not to take away from anybody else, but Taz was from the hood in Deerfield. He was from Alwoods, so he lived the life. He had the background, the story, and he was a good ass dude, good heart. Still is to this day. Bone Thugs fan, and he rapped like Bone, but more like Wishbone. So he wasn't really good at the fast rap or the cadences, but he did the harmonies really good. So I'm like, well, that's fine, man. We got Smoke is snapping. Rush can do the fast shit. We can have you do the laid back kind of singing, harmonizing, and he'll kick some fast shit every now and then, like Wishbone. Wishbone is the man. Shout out to Wish. But I at this point now, I'm kind of masterminding my own Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm curating an album that I want to hear because my favorite group is not giving it to me. So there's another artist featured on the Revival. His name is Kalo, which he grew up with Taz, and he also had a Bone Thugs type flow. So I tried to put them all together as a group, but Kalo, in retrospect, he was right. But Kalo was like, man, fuck that. I don't want to be a fake Bone group. I don't want to be a Bone clone. I'm out. He busy bones out this shit before it even starts. So I'm kind of like, all right, well, fuck it. Let's just keep it moving. We start a new group, and I really want to use this logo for something. So we try to come up with a group name, and we just come up with DB Family. And DB stands for like Dying Breed. So Dying Breed was the new group, but we just wanted to call it DB Family. We wanted to be unique. We figured Dying Breed was probably a rock group or some shit. And DB Family, we wanted it to have kind of like a mob kind of aesthetic to it. So DB Family was the group, and I kind of A&R'd this these two albums from DB Family, the first one is kind of like a nod to East 1999 Eternal. Like even the album cover kind of looks like the first of the month video. And I'm looking at some of the songs like that I came up with either the sample or the idea. So like Just Imagine is like a remake of the breakdown beat. And we make this album, it's got a heavy Bone Thugs influence, but we give props and shouts out to Bone Thugs on the album so that any fans wouldn't be like, oh, they're trying to be clones. It's like, nah, we're paying homage. Like we love Bone Thugs and shit. So that's how we try to do with that. So we had that one. We had Lost Souls. Lost Souls was kind of like a Kendrick Lamar kind of an influence when Kendrick first came out. Tax Season. Okay, I have him kind of redo R. Kelly's Gotham City remix, but Tax Season is kind of like First of the Month. But see, First of the Month was better because there's 12 of them in a year, and your tax refund season is one time a year. But I was like, yo, let's do a song on when everybody gets their tax refund. So again, I'm not on this album at all, but I kind of A&R'd it. And then there's a song called Who Shot Ya? It's my favorite one on the album. The beat was my daughters were playing a game on their iPad, and I was like, hold up, what is that melody? And I sampled the melody and I gave it to Rush and he made a beat out of it. And my kids love that song to this day as well. So, and this album has a song called On That Lean featuring T-Rock. I'm going to play a couple of quick things from this album because first of all, I want to show you guys Smoke's talent. I'll never forget, we went to a real studio to record this. And when Smoke dropped this verse, the engineer, his mind was blown.
I be able to level to make it better, whatever they get a matter for the money forever, the whatever better put them with a hammer, whatever they get the cheddar. I'm a motherfucking last of the damn breed. And I ain't finna be the kind to get defeated for the green. When they get it going down, I gotta get it by all means. And finna be the man for the child. Don't play when they get the bread. Better win, it'll be the way to put away. When I'm feeling man, get up in the game for the pay, for the benefit, came for the pay, my run is. Never gonna sell out with the background, for to get it on line. This time, to get it, but it made my mind, on my money, my money, my mind.
Yo, he was in the booth like a machine gun. Like, yo, he kills it, man. And the song On That Lean, so he samples Pimp C from Big Pimpin', and T-Rock gets on the song. Let me play you the T-Rock part.
Smoking now, blowing up, I like my whistle wet with liquor. Straight from ATL, but I be leaning like a Texas nigga. Yeah, baby, you heard it right. Codeine in my dirty Sprite. That shit got me laid out like Leonidas after that Persian fight. I'm fucking with a black and Puerto Rican on the weed and the pill. About to fall asleep at the wheel. I'm stoned as shit. I'm so geeked in here. I'm AOD on bill.
It's kind of like Bone Thugs Ecstasy, but DB Family's I'm On That Lean. So that was a good song. And then we did one more album, DB Family First. Check out the intro because, you know, your boy gets a little bit of a shout out in there.
Last of a time bread. Laura Smokely on the THC. Be the last of a time bread. Skrilla made it a reality.
Smoke, rush, young Tizzle and Skrilla.
Skrilla got the shout outs. Wasn't even on the album, but this was another one that I kind of like A&R'd it. Bro, these two albums are so fucking good. It's such a shame that more people haven't heard them. And most of these songs, like, were kind of like sample ideas that I shot them. Yo, let's try to sample this. Let's sample that. You know, the other thing I didn't even mention, like me and Gold Rush, we made a whole ass album together, just me and him. And it was called Greens for the Honey, Golds for the Honey. Because green for Skrilla, gold for Gold Rush. And we had one song where we sampled the music from the Ninja Turtles movie when they first showed the Shredder. You know that, it might be the fight scene. Dope ass sample though. It's a shame I don't have the album art or the music or anything. All right, but let me get full circle now. So this DB Family thing's going on, and Rush starts feeling like, man, you know what? If we're really doing this Bone sound, we got to get the Bone cosign. That's the only way this shit is going to work. So we keep on trying to get in the mix with Bone one way or the other. I forgot how it even happens. I think we start just hitting up their shows. Yo, actually, I can't believe I forgot this part. I start designing t-shirts for the Life Apparel, Crazy Bones clothing company. The guy, Jay Orleano, I don't know if he's still the guy that's involved or whatever, but I actually sold him 2 different t-shirt designs that he paid me money for, and they pressed up and sold on the site. And one time they had a show in Miami, and I was actually working the booth selling Bone Thugs and Harmony merch. And I don't know if this ended up leading to hooking up with Bone Thugs, because we took a picture with Crazy Bone that day, Anyway, Rush ends up, I think he actually bumps into Layzie Bone at a different event. He bumps into Layzie Bone, builds a relationship with Layzie. He ends up recording some stuff that Layzie was getting paid for features, and Layzie drops a hook for a song that we use for DB Family after Family First. So we didn't really have it on an album, but real quick, I'll play the hook of DB Family and Layzie Bone.
Gold Rush Productions.
I gotta get it, you gotta get it. Let's go and get it right now. I gotta get it, you gotta get it. Let's go and get it right now. Money make the world go, money make the world go, money make the world go round. Money make the world go, money make the world go, money make the world go round.
I think that was the same sample that J. Cole used at a Dina Howard sample, but Layzie Bone, it was a chorus that he actually gave to Rush for like the work, and you know, DB Family, Taz, and Smoker on that song as well. Then Rush ends up kind of getting linked up with Busy Bone in the same way, and he just records something that Busy was getting paid for, doing him like a solid, and he doesn't have anything with Busy Bone yet. So anyway, that happens. He ends up getting in touch with Crazy Bone as well, and he starts sending tracks back and forth with Crazy Bone, but nothing really happens with Bone Thugs until Flesh and Bone. Somehow, through the rest of the members, Flesh and Bone and Rush link up. Flesh lives in Orlando, Florida. Rush is in Broward. They start linking up, and Rush starts doing production for Flesh. He starts shooting him a bunch of songs that he has. I'm hearing shit. I'm like, yo, send him that. And he ends up doing a couple of songs and videos for Flesh. Now, what's funny about Rush doing videos is that when we started doing the DB Family thing, we were recording our own videos, and Rush was learning how to chop those up, because it's very similar to chopping up audio. You use the clips, whether it's video or audio, it's the same thing when you're editing. So anyway, so we had like a bunch of DB Family videos that are not online anymore. Anyway, he ends up doing a bunch of big songs for Flesh and Bone. He does the song The Dedication. He does a song with Flesh and Bone called Eternal. The biggest song, though, I think is Smoke and Maintain. This song is vintage Bone Thugs and Harmony weed song, but it's Flesh and Gold Rush. Let me see if I can play a little bit of it real quick. And the music video they shot, they recreate the scene from Half Baked, which is dope as hell too.
Hey, gotta take a blunt to the brain just to maintain. Nobody nigga like me, smoke and maintain. Remain the same. Hey, that was an everyday thing. Gotta stay blaze. Nobody nigga like me, smoke and maintain. Remain the same. Just thuggin', break it up, drugs, rolling weed and smoking on it.
Buddha. So now you got Rush. We got DB Family got a song with Layzie Bone. Now Rush is in the mix with Flesh. And at this point now, Bone Thug fans know about Gold Rush. He actually changed his name to Raidenrush because of the whole being typecast as a producer thing. He was kind of like, all right, Gold Rush is a producer, you're right. But Raidenrush is this new rapper, so check out Raidenrush. So that you might see him as Raidenrush or Gold Rush. But that's Smoke and Maintain. Bro, that's worthy of my Bone Thugs playlist type shit. Like, that shit is a fire-ass song. You got to listen to the whole song, watch the video. So anyway, so now he's got a song with the two brothers, Layzie and Flesh, and I'm thinking, what's up with Crazy, man? Because to me, like, Crazy and Busy were always low-key my favorites. And finally, Crazy Bone starts using some of Rush's production. The first one he used was the beat for Alone in a Crowded Room. And then the most recent track that he did for a solo was a great song because it's the song that Crazy Bone addresses him being in a coma for 10 days. If you guys remember, everybody thought Crazy Bone was dying. It's Shine Down on Me. So he does that song on a Gold Rush track. Now I'm like, bro, you in there. Like, you officially a Bone Thugs producer at this time. And now it's solidified because if you guys notice, Bone Thugs is promoting this new single they're dropping. It's all 5 of them on one track for the first time in a minute. They have a record deal with Conor McGregor's Greenback Records, and the song is called Aw Shit because Rush samples Eazy-E from Thuggish Ruggish Bone, from For the Love of Money, saying, "Aw shit, here comes the motherfucking cops." So Aw Shit is produced by Gold Rush, this guy that I spent years of my life with my favorite group, Bone Thugs, all 5 members. Funny enough, I don't really like the song. Like, I like Bone songs like Days of Our Lives, like First of the Month, like those vibe and chillin' songs. But hey, it's still a fucking accomplishment. And even though I'm not on the song, I'm not really involved anymore, except for that's still my friend. Hopefully this video gets more eyes on Gold Rush and Raiden Rush and the stuff that he's doing with Bone and the stuff that he's put in so many years, man, because it's 2025 now. He's been doing this shit. We were doing it 25 years ago, man, the year 2000 type shit. So, damn, I guess that's where we kind of end this. New Bone Thug single drops April 25th. It's called Aw Shit. It's produced by my boy, Gold Rush. I'm going to link the songs that I played in the description, the stuff that I was on, the DB Family stuff, the Gold Rush and Smoke stuff. And that's the story on when I was a rapper, man. I really ended up giving up on it. Not really giving up on it. I put my focus towards my family, my wife, my daughters. I started doing really well at work. And then funny enough, like I just decided to start sharing. Another thing I was passionate about was comic stuff, and started sharing that on Instagram. Then I made a YouTube channel, and then that became its own thing. So it's kind of funny, like the path that you think you're supposed to be on and how that can divert, man. And maybe just, don't have the blinders on, be willing to adapt, because I did something totally different. I thought I was going to be a musician for the most of my life, but I still use my voice and make these beats. A lot of my videos have a Gold Rush beat underneath the tracks. It's funny. It's he was here the whole time with me doing this channel, man. I don't really know how to end this, man. So I guess we're going to just end it with hope you enjoyed the story. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. I appreciate you watching. Stay minty fresh. Peace.